All right, creatures of the night. Alex Doriot here, one half of the Talking Taker podcast, here for another round of digging up the dead man. First time in a long time here, back on the YouTube channel, a little supplemental content to the Talking Taker podcast as I open up, unbox, review some Undertaker and Undertaker adjacent figures, additions to the ever-growing, ever-expanding Talking Taker collection with a double whammy here. Elite Series 106 Paul Bearer and the Paul Bearer Chase. Now, my buddies, friends of the show, Randy Turco and Steven Zeman, my fellow Undertaker figure collectors, a couple weeks ago, we did the year in review of every Undertaker and Undertaker adjacent figure released in 2023. And we did not have our hands on these Paul Bearers yet, but we all said just based on the photos and based on the reference shots that have been released that we had seen online, we thought these might just be hands down the best Paul Bearer figures ever released in all of time. In the 33 years since Paul Bearer became a character, a beloved character on our television screens in the World Wrestling Federation and the WWE. And we're going to find out. I'm going to open up both of them here. I have been itching to get these. As you know, if you're a fan of the Talking Taker podcast, you know Travis and I are massive Paul Bearer fans. He is certainly on our Mount Rushmore of wrestling managers, even if he's not actually on The Undertaker's Mount Rushmore. Come on, Taker. Come on, give us a break. Paul Bearer's got to be on the Mount Rushmore. Our appreciation just grew and grew, and our affection for Paul Bearer grew and grew the longer that we have done the podcast. Again, another previous episode earlier this year, we did the complete life and times, an entire biography of Paul Bearer, of William Moody, the man behind the character. So yeah, I'm itching to get these. There's been a few Paul Bearer figures throughout the years, but not enough for me, in my opinion, and Mattel has not done one in a long time, so I was very surprised and very excited to get these when I heard that these were released, to pre-order these and to finally have them in my hands here, a little early Christmas present for myself here. So let's check them out. We got the Paul Bearer. This is the standard one. Again, this is probably going to be representing like a 1994 all the way up to 1996 version of Paul Bearer. And then you've got the Chase Paul Bearer here, which is more of a 1997, 1998 Paul Bearer here. So two very different versions here. We're going to take them out. Let's give them a look. Let's see if they really do live up to what we thought were going to be the best Paul Bearers of all time. All right, let's do the standard edition first here. We got Paul Bearer. This is the new Elite packaging. This is my first time holding one of these. They are trying to, I guess, the idea is they're reducing the plastic here to make it more a little environmentally friendly. It's a little odd to me. I wasn't really bothered by it, by the pictures. I'm still not bothered by it because, after all, I am a primarily a loose collector, so I'm going to toss this out anyway. And so I'm pro anything that's going to reduce waste, and then I'm going to be able to throw more of in the recycling container. But yeah, it's not the best design. It feels like they could have just, put the picture of Paul Bearer here instead of like a giant WWE logo or something else here. I'm a fan of the idea, maybe not so much the execution, but there's the back. We got another classic shot of Paul Bearer on here. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the tie that he is wearing on the figure. So I'm just now noticing that. I don't know if that's photoshopped to match it. I wouldn't put that past Mattel, but that certainly looks like a tie Paul Bearer would have worn in this era. So kudos to them for nailing that. It says, oh, yes. In the Attitude Era, the ghoulish manager of Undertaker, not The Undertaker, turned his back on the dead man and introduced the world to the monstrous Kane. Career highlights, Hall of Fame inductee. Obviously, not a lot of matches in Paul Bearer's career, although we did highlight on that history of Paul Bearer. He did have one official WWE match against The Big Show in 1999. Interesting little footnote to his career. Some of the other people in this line, the Usos, Sami Zayn, Gable, Roxanne Perez. I have no idea who that is. I'm sure Travis does. Big NXT fan. Never heard of her. Never seen her. No clue. But there you go. She gets to be in the same line as Paul Bearer. Let's open it up. Check this guy out. You know, like we said on our review or preview, I guess, of this figure, we were very excited about the girth. A lot of Paul Bearer figures released in the past have really not showcased his size. He was not a skinny, svelte man. He had some girth on him, and I feel like this figure really nails it here. Got some alternate hands and even an alternate urn, which we'll talk about in just a second. We got the standard urn and the mega urn right there. Let's yep, it's gotta untie him here, and then we will take him out. All right, there he is, Paul Bearer. He's out. Almost lost the urn. Trying to pop him open here. Hear that? I got a baby rattle here. Toss this to my daughter. That's unfortunate. Don't love that, but that's all right. He'll just be on the shelf anyway. It's not the end of the world here. But check him out. Look at that face. Got the signature Paul Bearer little scowl right there. This one I love. They've got like the bags under his eyes and the really white face paint on there. I mean, can't argue with that. Again, love that tie. So, you know, early Paul Bearer, he would have worn like a black tie, you know, maybe a solid red tie or something like that. But yeah, as he went on through the years, you know, the mid 90s, he would have a little bit more flair and a little more color on his tie. And I mean, and that is like a 1994, 95, maybe like the Jerry Garcia collection tie. That is something you'd give your dad for Father's Day kind of tie. You just don't see that in style anymore, but I love it on there. There it is. Got the belt, open up the pants, or the not really a belt, the painted on belt buckle, but that's okay. You know, jacket's supposed to be closed on there. I don't mind that, but I love the body mold on here. Very unique to Paul Bearer. I don't know that they've used this one before, but it definitely suits him. And look at the way the head can twist on there. That's a nice touch for the Paul Bearer. You can get those little cocked head poses that he would certainly do. He was known for. So again, Paul Bearer, he was such a showman on the outside of the ring. We often called it, he was leading Mr. Bearer's opus out there. Travis coined the term. You know, he would conduct the crowd. He would play to the camera. He would do what a manager is supposed to do. He would enhance the action on the inside the ring. It wasn't always about him, but he did a great job of enhancing what was going on in the ring. So you've got the urn. This would be like, you know, the traditional early 90s urn from like 1991 all the way up to Royal Rumble 1994. That's when we saw this urn go away. And I can't hold it with these hands. I get you'd have to kind of just lean it up against his body, or maybe put the hand under it, maybe like that. You could make it work for display, something like that. I don't know. Yeah, honestly, these other hands, I love these hands. These right here. I'll put them on here in just a second. But I don't think you can hold the urn really in those, and you cannot hold it for sure in these little C-grip hands. That was, I don't know why we even got those. Why is there not a hand that really can fit the urn in there? I'll try both of them here to see if it works. But if that's not the case, that's a bit of a flop in my opinion. To not really give us a hand that can hold the urn. Oh, always scared about popping these hands out. I always feel like I'm gonna mess it up. But cool feature. Gotta love it. Gotta love that addition on modern figures. Okay, one is in. Of course, you could always pretend that, you know, Paul Bearer got his hand cut off there in your Fig Fed. I'm sure I would have done a storyline like that back when I was a kid. Let's see here. That's probably something Paul Bearer would have gone with. You know, he was a very dark, twisted sense of humor individual, so he probably would have loved something like that. Yeah, it's C-grip. That still does not fit this urn. I guess you could really... You could play with it and maybe really force it in there. Honestly, I don't really care if I break the C-grip hand. But yeah, even if I try to force it in there, which it definitely does not go, it's not going to fit in there. So that is that's a swing and a miss. That takes this from a 10 out of 10 down at least 1 point for me. yeah, you cannot fit that urn in there. Can you fit it in this hand? Again, not really. It's not really made for that. So if you're going to give us a pallbearer with the urn, give us a way that he can carry the urn. That's what pallbearer does. He carries the urn. So don't love that, but you got to love that hand. You know, pallbearer, you could see him. If he had a hand that could actually carry the urn, you know, he could be lifting it up, holding it up like this, giving the Undertaker some power from the urn with this hand right here, you know, doing some weird motions with that hand. That's exactly what pallbearer would have done. So I gotta love that touch, compliment that touch, Mattel. But you know, definitely a big critique of mine that you can't actually fit pallbearer's chubby little hands around the urn there. But aesthetically, great figure. I mean, I think our instincts were correct. This is probably the best pallbearer figure, hands down, of all time. It nails the size. It nails the likeness. Absolutely perfect on there. So I will be excited to add this one to the Talking Taker collection. And, oh yeah, got to talk about the second urn, which, again, if you can't hold that first urn, there's no way you're holding the second urn. And there was some, I don't know, debate or questioning going on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast about where this urn came from. And I was pretty surprised that such hardcore fans as Matt and Brian, as I cannot, mine seems to be a little busted here. Yeah, the top won't go on here. Okay. Well, we'll talk about it without the top, and maybe I'll use the top from the other pallbearer here. But yeah, how do you not remember? This is the SummerSlam 94 urn. Undertaker came back to face The Undertaker, and pallbearer returned with this giant urn right here, comically large urn at that pay-per-view. And I love that they made it without with the removable top, because that's what pallbearer did at that pay-per-view. He took the top off, and there was a big spotlight shining on there, and he, you know, showing it all around the arena. And he did carry this ridiculously large urn around until I believe IRS stole it first at Royal Rumble 1995, my least favorite performer of all time, IRS. Yeah, of course you got to hate him because he stole the urn. But then Undertaker stole it back at WrestleMania 11 during the King Kong Bundy match, and then Kama stole it from the Undertaker and melted it down into a chain, which we have a figure of. I've unboxed on this channel before that comes with that chain. This is the urn that he melted down to form that chain. And then I guess pallbearer re-smelted it, I guess. Went into the shop and turned it back into an urn again. More a normal-sized urn after that. But yeah, this was the mega urn. Surprised that those guys did not remember this urn. But pretty cool that it comes with this. Again, pallbearer can't really... He can hold it, but... you got to be real delicate on display with that. I have a feeling it's going to fall down in my display many, many times. And honestly, my top does not go on. I don't know if mine's busted or did not come out right. It doesn't look like there's anything wrong with it, but my top does not fit on there. So hopefully I can just use this urn from the 97 pallbearer and put that on here. Maybe some super glue or something. I don't know. But overall, again, I give it a 9 out of 10 because you gotta do better and give us a hand that can actually hold that urn, Mattel. But still a pretty awesome figure. It's gonna look great on display in the collection. But let's take a look at the Chase pallbearer here. All right, so more bang for your buck. You get not just one, but two pallbearers in the Elite 106 collection. This is definitely heel pallbearer. He's turned on the Undertaker, and he is bringing in Kane. This is probably after he's brought in Kane, because I don't think he had the mustache yet at Bad Blood 97. I think it came a little bit after in 1998. So this is probably a 1998 pallbearer here. Let's have a look at him. Packaging is the same on here. We've just changed the figure itself. And honestly, I mean, for a chase, which Mattel does in just about every series, there's always one figure a chase version that has a different paint job or a different look to him. They did a heck of a job, because a lot of times these chases will just be like different color boots or different color elbow pads or different color trunks. You know, one little slight modification on there will turn it into a chase. They changed about everything that they could here, because one of the things with the chases is it's got to be the exact same figure. You know, they're not going to give you a different body or a completely different look of the same guy. It's going to be the exact same figure, but they're just going to repaint it. Some of them can be a lot more dramatic, and this is pretty dang dramatic here. We got completely different color suit, completely different color shirt, completely different tie, and obviously the completely different face on there. So kudos for that. We squeezed in pretty much a completely different character here. So let's get him untied and have a closer look at him. All right, so most importantly, the good news, this urn lid does stay on. So I do have the correct urn that I can display with this pallbearer, and I think definitely will display it with the mega urn. I'll keep this other urn and just we'll throw it on the shelf somewhere, but you got to have this pallbearer holding this urn because it's the first time it's ever been released, so I think, yeah, it's a must. You got to have him with the mega urn, so glad I got one that does stay on there like that. So important update there. Now this pallbearer, again, totally different tie. I love that they completely repainted it, and they even repainted the shirt. So he's got a navy blue suit and then a light blue shirt on there, which is very accurate. Still got the painted on belt buckle there, which cracks me up, and a navy blue suit. And wow, it's like it is the same scan, so it is the same head scan there. I thought for a minute it was a little bit different, but yeah, his eyes look a little bit different. I don't know if it's maybe just a weird paint application on there, but one of them, his eyes look a little bit different there to me, so I thought it might be a different head scan there for a second. But yeah, totally different paint job on the faces. Obviously, we remember Undertaker threw the fireball at pallbearer, and I guess that just burned all of the paint off his face and burned his mustache off and turned his hair color red, because the next week pallbearer was on TV looking like that. And he maintained that look there until around the Ministry of Darkness, when he dyed the hair black again. So this is a great representation of that. The natural hair, back when he was William Moody, or Percy Pringle, excuse me. It's sort of a more similar look to that. I'm sure you could customize this into a Percy Pringle figure if you're a real obsessive fan there. Awesome job, man. I think I like this one possibly maybe even more than the standard one. This is has not been released as much as the as this kind of pallbearer. There was a couple of Jakks versions of this pallbearer, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time Mattel has ever tackled this version of pallbearer, and it's pretty iconic, man. I mean, we talked about this so much on Talking Taker. Pallbearer was such an essential part of establishing the Undertaker character's lore. Well, not only that, man, he put Kane on the map. Kane was not doing promos. He wasn't talking, but pallbearer on his own really built up the whole character of Kane throughout the summer of 1997, and then really helped establish him and put him on the map throughout 1998. He was an essential part of creating that Hall of Fame style character. So not only as the Undertaker's partner in crime, but as one of his greatest rivals. You gotta give pallbearer his credit and his due, and so this is a great figure representation of that. I don't know which hands I'll use. It comes with all the same hands. Probably might just keep both of these hands on there for this pallbearer. And you wouldn't want to put this pallbearer with an urn. The urn wouldn't really come into play in this era when this pallbearer was around. So maybe just these hands right here like this, some sort of display here. But you got to stand this one. You got to put this one next to Kane in your collection, right next to like a 1998 style Kane. It's the only place really that this one can go. But I love this figure. I love this figure too. So excited to have new pallbearer figures in 2023. Honestly, I didn't think we'd get these figures, but truly, I don't know that Mattel will ever make another Paul Bearer figure. I think it will be a long time before they make more Paul Bearer figures. I do think there are more Paul Bearer figures that need to be made. As an obsessive fan, I'm not sure they would sell or be, quite what the mainstream fan wants. But number one for me is that we've never gotten like a 1999 Paul Bearer when he's in the Ministry of Darkness. So we've never gotten, that he didn't quite paint his face like this. His hair was a little bit different. The suit, he wasn't wearing a tie during that run. So we need that Paul Bearer. We need burned face Paul Bearer. That would have been an incredible addition to this figure, would be to have an alternate head with no mustache, maybe with some tape on his face right after Undertaker burned his face. Would have absolutely loved that. That would be an awesome addition. We don't have a 2000 Paul Bearer when he's with Kane very briefly. He's wearing like a red suit when he comes back and manages Kane in the year 2000. I think we need a 2004 Paul Bearer especially because I was there with Travis at WrestleMania 20. So, it didn't quite look like this. It was a little bit different. He was definitely a little bit bigger. And again, he didn't quite have the same sort of look to his face here. Wasn't painting like, the bags under his eyes during that time. So it's a different look there. And we don't have any of his other returns. We don't have 2010 Paul Bearer. We don't have 2013 Paul Bearer. We could do a Percy Pringle in the Legends collection. I would be all about any of these. I don't think actually Mattel would ever release, probably not going to release any of those. Maybe one of those, maybe like a WrestleMania 20 Paul Bearer, maybe a Ministry of Darkness Paul Bearer I could see potentially. But hey, if you want to market them exclusively to me and to some of my buddies, to Randy and to Steven, we would be all about them, Mattel. We'd eat them right up. So those are the Paul Bearers I think we still need. If these are the last ones we ever get, pretty outstanding. I'm thankful to add them to my collection. Two brand new Paul Bears in the year 2023. You gotta love it. Let me know in the comments what you think of these. Did you get both? I think you got to get both. What's your review of them? Do you have a way to get these urns to stand in their hands? Let me know. Be sure to follow us here on the YouTube channel and subscribe to the podcast right here on the YouTube channel or wherever you listen to podcasts. Go back and listen to our complete history, the life and times of Paul Bearer episode. Listen to Randy and Steven and I break down every Undertaker figure in 2023, and be sure to be here on January 1st for a brand new episode of Talking Taker, covering neither one of these eras. So we're going to go into 1999 for a special edition of Talking Taker, our Royal Rumble watch along that we always do in January. We're going to watch along the 99 Royal Rumble match. So be here for that. Until then, take her easy. Oh, yes.